we should be. So welcome to the third webinar in our 2023 series. What I want to talk to you today about is something, no matter where you are in your business life cycle, you have total control over. So in a nutshell, this presentation is going to cover how you approach your job as head of your organization and how HR can help. You're the founder of the business, of your business. So the big question is, do you want to be rich or do you want to be king? What? You want to be both? Well, it may surprise you to learn that very few business owners have been able to do that. We sent you an assessment. Kathleen has put the link to the assessment in the chat if you did not take it, so that you can do that. And that, hopefully those of you did take it, it helped you learn where you stand in the rich versus king continuum. Often when a business is started, there's no option for the leader to be anything but a king. As you get larger, you most want to progress to be able to have a work-life balance. So let's move to a discussion of the differences in using the king and rich leadership styles. But before I do that, can you put in the chat whether you're more towards the king or more towards the rich? Just type it in if you've taken the assessment. Okay. So, kings are geniuses. We all want to be geniuses, but there is a cost if you want to be the genius to us personally. The transition from doing all the thinking, making all the decisions is a tough one. You start with no procedures because it's all in your head, right? And you don't worry about employee risks as you hire them because you don't have the time, you don't have the money, you're really focused on growing and building the business. You may have hired the wrong people because they were friends and family and they were what you could afford. But no, kings only use 20 to 50% of employee capabilities. Rich, on the other hand, are genius makers. Has anyone read the book called Multipliers? If you did, Liz Wiseman wrote this book. It's a fantastic book. Multipliers use their intelligence to amplify the smarts and capabilities of their employees. When multipliers walk into a room, they don't have to tell people what to do, and yet ideas flow, problems get solved, and employees stretch themselves. Multipliers extract each person's unique intelligence, which allows them to use 70 to 120% of their employees' capabilities. A multiplier's employees are able to do more with less. If you really want to understand how to move that needle or totally transition from being a king to be rich, I think this is a great book to get you started. So you might want to think about that. Okay, so let's talk about becoming rich. I'm not sure if I've convinced you that being rich is the type of leader you want to be, but if so, the next question I need to ask you is, are you willing to personally make the changes you need to take you down the path to being rich? If so, this is where HR can come into the picture. If you want to be rich, you really need to be focused on your employee, on your behaviors and how you deal with your human capital. They are the ones that are making you the money. I'm going to talk about the things on this list in detail so you can decide whether you are willing to make the changes to become rich or richer. When I first look at a company to see where they are in the rich versus king continuum, I look at two things. First, I look at how decisions are being made. And second, I look at the structure of the organizational chart. If the business owner is, as this picture shows, is the hub, and all decisions are made by them as the hub, going out to an employee, but then coming back to the hub before going out to another employee. Or if the org chart is totally flat and everyone reports to the owner, I know we are in a king situation. There's some repercussions for king style. I mean, those that are kings might say, well, there are less mistakes and nobody, it just works well for me. But there are just delayed business decisions. People development is also inhibited since employees are not empowered to make decisions. And this style causes micromanagement with a perceived lack of employee trust. And the business growth is limited to the leader's capacity, which does have time limits. The sign of a good leader is when business runs as smoothly when the leader is in the business as when they are out. The hub and spoke approach to management and leadership impedes the business's ability to operate smoothly when the business owner, the hub, is away from the business. So to move to the rich management style, you must change to allow employees to participate. If the ultimate goal of becoming rich, or actually having a business, is to sell the business, then rich style will increase the value of your business dramatically. Okay, so delegating is one of the first steps in using a rich management style. Owners often feel time crunches, and delegation is one of their biggest potential solutions to solving their time management issues. I've listed some other reasons you might want to delegate. The important one for this rich discussion is helping employees grow, i.e., you become a multiplier. This will help you in two ways. First, it's making the company less dependent on you, helping you achieve work-life balance and increase the value of your business. Second, it engages and grows employees, which makes them a better part of your team and will help keep them working for you. As you know, retention can be a big problem in this economy. Is there a risk of delegating? I think you know the answer, of course. Yes, there's a risk. The risk is they might make a mistake that could cost you. This is why you want to make sure you delegate, not abdicate. Abdicating means you give it to someone and you never follow up. Come on, get down here. Okay, whoops. So when you delegate, you want to make sure that you delegate to the correct level based on the risk of a wrong decision. And these are the 5 levels I've put together of delegation. Delegating is hard, really hard for hub and spoke people because they have to give up control. Many of you may have done some of these things, and you can delegate even if you're a solopreneur. You can delegate. You just have to delegate to people that are vendors or whatever, to try to get them to do some of the work for you. Many of you may not have realized you are delegating when you do some of these lower level delegations, such as go do some research and come back, and then I'll make the decision on what we're going to do. So when you delegate, if it is something that is, if done wrong, could destroy your company, you're certainly not going to choose level 5 to delegate. Just do it and don't even tell me. That could be more risk than you really want. Next is your culture, which plays a big role in you becoming rich. The bottom line is it makes your company a place where you as the business owner and others will want to work. What impacts culture in the workplace? The short answer is almost everything that you do. It's a multitude of factors that play this role. Leadership impacts it the most. Remember, employees don't leave their job. They leave leaders and managers when they quit. Workplace practices, philosophies, people you hire, beliefs and values, and the clarity of your mission, your vision, and values also play a role in your culture. Job candidates evaluate your organization. A strong, positive, clearly defined, and well-communicated culture attracts talent that fits and will help you on your mission to becoming rich. Make sure employees know your values and how these values play out. I had a story about a bank, Happy Bank. There is a Happy Texas. So the bank, Happy Bank, is in Happy Texas. And they have 2 values. The first is family first. The second is get your work done, damn it. So there you could be disciplined for not attending a child's soccer game. But unlike most banks, it was open after hours, so you could come back and get your work done. Make sure your social media pages, your website reflect your values and that you live them, and of course that your employees know what they are. Last thing you might want to do to help you start the process of managing employees differently is to do some baseline assessment. We always start with communication assessment, followed by communication training, since without good communication, many of the other things you're trying to accomplish are going to be difficult or not work at all. If your teams are not working, if you are hiring for skills and then having to fire them for having a bad attitude, you can use assessments to pinpoint the issue. Employees were thrown into a remote work environment, which means you might not know what they're feeling. And doing an employee pulse survey on a regular basis might help you along that way. Sorry about that. It keeps popping me back. All right, here we go. All right. Is leadership and development a top concern at your organization? If you want to be rich, it should be. It's safe to say that many of company leaders in the next 10 to 15 years will be millennials. By 2025, they will represent 75% of the workforce. Hard to believe. Of the millennials, 75% believe that organizations are focused on their own good and not on the general good. That's an issue for millennials. So if you want to be rich, and you need to have a plan to keep these workers engaged, getting a greater purpose maybe for your company that they can buy into. These succession steps are required for you to become rich. Upskilling and developing employees are critical issues you must face. And doing future planning about what your organization will look like, what roles you will need, what high potential employee looks like, how to turn B players into A players can be helped by HR. Someone once said, what if we train them and they leave? I say, what if you don't train them and they stay? What kind of employees do you have? So most small business don't think of HR as a strategic part of their plan. And yet in this presentation, the switch from being king to being rich is totally strategic. Including HR and strategic planning of a company, whether you have full-time HR or high-level HR person, fractionally will help you use your human capital in the best way to make you rich. Remember, one of your company's largest assets and biggest costs are your employees. So HR's role in helping you become rich are not only the ones we have discussed, like engagement and culture. Most importantly, HR should give the business owner the freedom from dealing with the HR issues that keep them up at night, or the annoyance of employees yapping at each other, or just the feeling that the business owner might have I don't even want to go into work and deal with my employees. It can also help the employees and the departments in your company focus on the bigger picture issues, allows you to focus on those. HR should lessen your day-to-day responsibilities so you can function at least at the 10,000 foot level view. Okay, I'm going to talk about some of the issues HR should do to help make you rich. First, hiring the right employees and getting them engaged is one of the best things you can do to help make you rich. You can go to our effectivehiring.com website, and in the resource section, you can get some tools to get you started. While HR compliance is not going to make you rich, as we've been discussing, it can make you poor if you don't follow labor guidelines and are sued, or audits uncover issues leading to fines and fees. One of the biggest complaints I hear of owners is the lack of accountability of employees. Establishing accountability as part of your culture is extremely important. HR can help you by first establishing measurable key accountabilities for each position. Creating a handbook and job descriptions are the minimum you should do with HR guidance. This helps set the tone for your culture by setting the policies and procedures and responsibilities of your employees. All of HR's goals should be to make you able to move forward and not have to deal with king duties. Okay, so questions that you might have. None? Or somebody type? Okay, Lee? Go ahead and unmute.
Jackie.
Yeah.
In these, all these things make a major impact. But I do know there have been situations where folks have made themselves more competitive in the market by going ahead and deciding to pay for top performers. Could you just speak to that in the current environment? I mean, both things play a role, but I'm sure there are times to use that and times not to use that.
Okay, so when you say pay for top performers, Lee, tell me what you.
Well, I'll say there will be they go ahead and just pay more than everybody else in the market.
Okay, so that's probably one of the cheapest, maybe, or the easiest golden handcuffs that you can have, right? If you pay more than everybody else in the economy, your people aren't going to leave. It doesn't mean, though, that they're going to be engaged, that they're going to be happy, that they're going to really function at the top level, because if management is not handling them correctly, training them, making them, feel like they're part of the team, that they're, part of a solution to a bigger problem, they're not going to stay, even if they have to be paid less. That's one of the issues about millennials. They will leave before they have another job. So you want to be very careful in thinking that just using those golden handcuffs are going to really help you. Other HR questions that you have, or? Okay. So I will then suggest that you not forget to register for our next webinar, which is going to take place on April 12th. I think Kathleen has put the link in the chat, and this is going to discuss how to onboard and train employees. This is one step in the road to being rich, starting your new employees on the right path and retaining, helping you retain great employees, which is what Lee was talking about, a process to do that. So thank you all, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you.